guys, it's Eshani. So today we are going to be doing a foundation review video. What a throwback for my channel. How long has it been since we've tested a new foundation? Quite a while, because I even personally haven't tested a new foundation in over a year. This is the first foundation in a really long time that got me very curious. This is the new Nars Light Reflecting Foundation. This bad boy has been blowing up all over the place. I have heard makeup and non-makeup social media influencers talk about this foundation, which is what got me really interested, because I feel like this particular product has kind of transcended just the beauty world online. I feel like everyone is talking about this. Nars has an interesting foundation track record, in my opinion, because I feel like they come out with a lot of formulas. I feel like every year or two there's a new Nars foundation on the market, and I feel like every time that new formula is out, it gets very hyped, and then for some reason Nars tends to discontinue it and then a year or so later come out with a new formula. So while I don't think I would have tried this formula without all of the hype it's been getting, just because, like I said, Nars releases so many formulas, I couldn't keep up, the hype got to me. So today we are going to be seeing, is this product worth the hype? Here's what the bottle of the Nars Light Reflecting Foundation looks like. It looks like a pretty typical Nars foundation bottle. It's a rectangle. It's got the matte top and then the glass base. The foundation does come with a pump here, which I really like. I will say this isn't my favorite type of pump on a foundation. It's one of those pumps that just kind of goes down and dispenses a whole pump. Like, you don't have any control with the pump. Every time you push this down, a full pump of product is gonna come out. It's not the easiest to control pump, but I can still appreciate the fact that there's a pump. This foundation retails for $49 for 1 fluid ounce of liquid foundation, which is a pretty standard amount of product. I'm gonna read you the claims of this foundation because this is a skincare-infused foundation, and Nars really goes into the fact that this is supposed to do wonders for your skin. Here's what they say. This is an advanced makeup skincare hybrid foundation with a natural finish that quickly blurs and smooths while visibly improving skin's clarity over time. Because this is kind of a first impression review on this foundation, I'm not going to be able to share the actual long-term effects of this. If you're looking for something to actually do something for your skin, invest in your skincare. Don't expect a foundation to fix it, but at the same time, a foundation infused with skincare, it couldn't hurt. That's the way I view this. There are a couple of key ingredients in this liquid foundation that Nars specifically points out as being like the skincare benefits to it. I will say none of these ingredients I have heard of before, but we've got biomimetic oat, which visibly improves clarity by reducing the appearance of redness. Japanese lily turf supports a strong skin barrier by helping maintain moisture. And cacao peptides and milk thistle minimize the negative effect of blue light and environmental stressors. I'll be completely honest with you guys. I think right now, blue light being infused in all the makeup and skincare and them using that as a marketing scheme is just that. In my opinion, it's fully a marketing scheme. If you guys want to protect your skin against any type of UV light or blue light, just wear sunscreen. Sunscreen does the job. You don't need a specialized blue light eliminating or blue light minimizing foundation. Although I do think it's very interesting because Nars claims that 70% of this foundation is made up of skincare ingredients. Here's a little demo of how this foundation went on for me. On one side of my face, I used a brush. I actually went ahead and used the Real Techniques Expert Face Brush, which is my favorite foundation brush. And then on the other half of my face, I went ahead and used my classic beauty blender. But to prep my skin, I first went in with my YSL Touche Eclat Blur Primer. This is my favorite all over face primer. It really smooths out the texture of my skin. And then I went over my large pore areas with the Smashbox Photo Finish Pore Minimizing Primer. You can see the texture of the foundation is fairly thin. thin. It does kind of drip down my hand when I pump it on the back of my hand. I started applying on one side of my face by dotting it on and then blending with my Real Techniques Expert Face Brush. And you can see that the brush blends in the foundation absolutely effortlessly. It doesn't apply streaky. It doesn't take a lot of work or effort or pressure to get it all blended in evenly. I did go in with a light second layer. I tend to do this with most of my foundations, so I figured I'd go ahead and stay consistent with that and just apply extra foundation in the areas of my face where I feel like I needed more coverage. As you can see from the side of my face that has foundation and the side of my face that doesn't, this foundation does give a pretty true medium coverage. I applied it in a similar way to the other side of my face, but instead I blended it in with my beauty blender. I was a little skeptical of how the beauty blender would blend this foundation, thinking because of the texture it might absorb too much of the product. Between the beauty blender application and the brush application, I think I preferred the beauty blender application. It blended in just as well. I feel like it gave me the same amount of coverage with the same amount of product. I don't feel like the sponge absorbed any more product than my brush did. Immediately post application, I do feel like my face looked pretty glowy. It didn't look overly dewy or tacky. It didn't feel sticky to the touch. I view this as a perfect satin finish or natural finish foundation. There is one major thing I want to mention about the coloring of this foundation, and I do think that kind of skewed my opinion on my preferred application method with it. The shade I ended up picking up is called Huahine. I hate that I mispronounced that, and I know I did. It's MD 2.6 Huahine, which Nars describes as a medium deep with neutral undertones. I have to be totally honest with you guys, this foundation does not have neutral undertones in my opinion. I do feel like when you blend this foundation out, it oxidizes. Here you can see on the top, that's a fresh swatch of the foundation when I just pumped it on the back of my hand. And you can see under it the shade that it essentially transforms into once it's been sitting on your skin for a little bit. It's possible that the oxidation just has to do with my particular skin. I mean, different foundations oxidize or don't oxidize differently on different people, just depending on your body chemistry. But it's been a while since the foundation has oxidized as badly, in my opinion, as this one does on me. So it's something I wanted to mention. And I also wanted to mention that it oxidizes into a very strong reddish pink undertone. That's not what I consider a neutral undertone. I mean, this looks kind of reddish on my skin. While I could definitely get it to work on me, it's not as flawless of a match as I was hoping it would be, especially when Nars says that this is neutral. I don't expect it to turn red. For the purposes of this video and the full day wear test, I went ahead and sandwiched this foundation with my usual cocktail of products. So I showed you guys my primer combo that I used. I also went ahead and set it with my Laura Mercier translucent loose powder, which is something that I do with literally every liquid foundation. I just applied a very, very light layer of that powder just to take down some of the shine and essentially give this foundation its best shot of long-term success, especially on my kind of normal to verging on oily skin type. My plan is to not touch up this foundation at all for the rest of the day. I'm not gonna blot, I'm not gonna powder, I'm not going to touch it, and we're just gonna see how it lasts on me throughout the day. So I finished applying this foundation this morning at around 10 a.m. I'll be wearing this foundation for at least 8 hours today, probably a little bit longer. I'll be going about my normal work day, and I am planning on taking a hike later in the evening. So this foundation will be put to a little bit of a sweat test and a little bit of an outdoor in the elements proper true wear test. And in case you guys are curious about anything else I have on my face, everything will be listed and linked in the description box down below. Just an FYI, I did put on some bronzer and a matte cream blush. I didn't want to apply anything on the cheeks that had any extra shimmer or glow, so there's no highlight on my skin. I figured that would be able to showcase the wear of the foundation better if I didn't have, you know, anything else giving me any extra dewiness. So yeah, I think that's all I have to say on the foundation thus far. I will check in with you guys in a couple hours and we'll see how this foundation is holding up then. Okay guys, first and foremost, I can't even remember the last time that this was an issue. My eyelash is popping off the inner corner of my eye. Let me tell you what happened. I had to change eyelash glues simply for the sole reason that my go-to holy grail, I love it until the day I die, eyelash glue is not available anymore. I literally can't find this glue anywhere, and it is the House of Lashes glue. Where is the House of Lashes glue, you guys? I have been trying to find myself a single tube of it. I'm out. I just need one tube. Give me one tube. No retailer that sells House of Lashes has this freaking glue in stock. What is even going on? I was going crazy. I was literally using a very, very, very old bottle of House of Lashes glue for the longest time because I couldn't be without it, but that bottle was thick and goopy and sticky, and it wasn't even like I was brushing on glue anymore. I was literally brushing on like rubber onto my false lashes. I know. Gross. So I went ahead and decided, okay, let me try on this Duo brush on adhesive because I've heard good things about this. No, I've had these lashes on for less than an hour. Less than an hour. My eyelash is already coming off. And what's really, really irritating is I filmed the entire first portion of this video with my freaking eyelash popped off. I'm going to attempt to fix this dilemma right here, but you guys, I have not had this problem happen literally in years. Literally. Nobody wants to keep re-gluing their lashes on in the middle of the day. Like, come on. We're better than this. It's 2022. We are better than this. Sorry about the dramatic start to this check-in, you guys. It is now 1:32 in the afternoon, so I have had this makeup on for over 3.5 hours now. I figured I'd go ahead and check in front of my vanity lights so you guys get a little bit of a different lighting viewpoint on this makeup. I have to say, I am uber impressed right now. There's a little bit of shininess on my forehead you guys might be able to see, but honestly, everywhere else on my face, that includes around my nose, on my nose, my chin, my cheeks, everything is looking intact. I think the foundation might be gathering a little bit right here, but it's not too bad. My forehead is looking good. Granted, just FYI and full disclosure, I do have Botox in my forehead. Normally, I have a really big kind of like wrinkle, essentially, across the top of my forehead. And then I do get those two little parallel lines right here where like your brows scrunch together. Every foundation, I mean, every single foundation I have ever tried always sinks into those lines pre-Botox. Obviously right now I'm not having that issue, but I think that has to do with the Botox. I don't think that's particularly anything special with this foundation, but I wanted to make sure I gave you guys full disclosure on that normally it would settle in that area, but it's looking good for now. Nothing to really complain about with this foundation. I don't feel like it's oxidized any more than it did basically when I initially applied it. Shade-wise, I still think I could do a little bit better just in terms of the undertone, but I don't hate it. That's my check-in at the 3.5 hour mark. I swear, if one of these eyelashes pops up again, you will hear another complaint. I am telling you, House of Lashes, I blame you for not restocking your glue. Duo, I blame you for having a crappy glue. And Eshani, I just blame myself for pretending like there's something better than House of Lashes out there. There literally isn't. Hey guys, checking in yet again. It is almost 5 o'clock. I can't show you guys because I'm actually filming on my phone right now. I've had this makeup on for almost 7 hours now, and I think it's holding up really well. I was analyzing myself in the car mirror and I can definitely see my forehead
being pretty shiny and maybe a little bit around my nose. Foundation has been wearing off a little bit around my mouth since I've been eating and kind of wiping that area. Also, the area around my mouth right now is particularly dry just because it's cold outside now. So that area is not wearing super well. I don't think that's the fault of the foundation though. No foundation was gonna look good around this area. But yeah, forehead is definitely a little glossy. If I was actually going somewhere important right now, I would blot my forehead. But the rest of it is looking good. Blush, bronzer, still holding on there. It doesn't really look like it's faded or broken up really anywhere else. I can still see a little bit of glowiness. 7 hours later, no touch-ups, no blotting, no extra powder. I think it's looking really good. All right, guys, I will check in with you guys in a couple hours. We're about to do a hike now, so I wanted to show you pre-hike because we're going to be putting this to the test during a proper workout now.
It is now after 8 o'clock, so I have had this makeup on for over 10 hours now. My goodness, you guys. Don't judge. I had my hair up while we were hiking. I should probably just put it up now, but we're just gonna deal with this. It was pretty chilly outside today. My eyes were watering because of the wind. This foundation, this makeup in general, has been put to the test. Let me go ahead and zoom you guys in so we can take a real uncomfortable look at my face. Can I just start off by saying I am beyond surprised that my eyelashes are still on. I'm really shook that duo glue. I don't know. It disappointed me in hour 1, but in hour 10, somehow it's still hanging in there. I don't know. I don't know what to tell you about that. Areas of my face that this has rubbed off. Definitely around my nose. I feel like there's basically no foundation left around my nose. I also feel like there's like no foundation left here around my mouth. And even kind of here on my chin, I can kind of see where foundation has been, I don't know, it almost looks like it's like cracking? I don't know if cracking is the right word, but you guys know, like if you had a wrinkle, for example, and then if you pounced foundation on top and then kind of stretched your skin and there's areas of skin that don't have foundation in them anymore, that's almost what this looks like. It's kind of weird because it didn't look like that in the beginning, but I don't know. Am I getting like wrinkles right here, like on the bottom of my chin? I might be. Aging, you guys. It's no joke. Wear sunscreen. But yeah, so there are those little like lines right here. There's a patch of foundation that's completely missing here. My forehead is really shiny. I went ahead and grabbed a tissue because I figured I'd do my best at kind of blotting this foundation down. Let's just see how much the tissue is able to pick up the product. And let's see how fresh we can make it look after I just do a quick blot here. So that's how much the tissue picked up. Honestly, not too bad at all. Most of this was from my forehead, which as we saw was definitely the shiniest part of my skin. My forehead looks pretty good, to be honest with you guys. I mean, it doesn't really look like it's faded. It did look a little shiny, but once I blotted, it looks good to me. My bronzer is still on, my blush is still visible. My mascara has definitely kind of flaked a little bit, which was to be expected. I did do an almost 3-hour hike. For 10 hours, this doesn't look too bad, you guys. Here's an overall look at my skin. It's not looking super fresh, but it's 10 hours. I mean, this could have been so much worse. There is one big thing that I wanted to mention about this, and that is that when I was out on the mountain, my hiking partner turned over to me and said, "Is your face orange?" That's a problem, you guys. I knew that this undertone was way too warm. This particular shade does oxidize to be very orangey red. So much so that someone else actually noticed it and asked me about it. That's not good, you guys. You don't want somebody else asking you, "Is your face orange?" That's not a compliment. That's not what I want in a $50 foundation. That's not what I want in general. That's not how I want to live my life. To be honest, my biggest concern with this foundation is the undertones. I'm worried about the shades, I'm worried about the oxidations, and I'm worried that what Nars deems to be a neutral undertone is very not neutral. That worries me for people who are trying to color match themselves online, but honestly, I went in store to color match myself to this shade, and I still got it wrong. I think this is gonna be one of those foundations that you're probably gonna have to experiment a little bit before you actually find your correct shade, which can definitely be kind of discouraging because I really like the formula. I think it's cool that it's primarily skincare ingredients. I think I'm gonna go back to Ulta and see if I can get myself a better color match than this because I like the foundation. I would definitely continue using it. I just hope that there is a shade that can match me post-oxidation. Thank you guys for spending some time with me today and sticking around as I did my review, demo, full wear test. I hope it was helpful to you. Links to purchase this foundation will be down below in the description box if you guys are interested. Just an FYI, the links in the description box are affiliate links, so if you shop through those links, I do make a little bit of a commission. If you guys are planning to shop, I really do appreciate you guys using my affiliate links because it helps out my channel quite a bit. Thank you guys so much for watching, supporting, and subscribing, and liking this video if you enjoyed it, and I will talk to you in my next video very soon. I'll see you then. Bye!